There are actually two different approaches to creating Git repositories, regardless of whether it's hosted at GitHub, Bitbucket, or any other service. The first way is to create the repository on the service's website and then clone it. The second way is to initialize it on your computer and then add your remote service and push. As a new developer, or at least one new to Git, you need to know how to do it both ways. Let's get started with the clone method first. I'm going to log into GitHub and make a new repository. I'll give it a name and add a README file so there's something in the repository when it gets created. That was pretty easy. Let's make note of the URL for this repository. We're going to need to copy and paste it into our terminal in just a minute. I'll be using SSH for this. If you don't have SSH keys in GitHub, or if SSH isn't working for you, or maybe you just hate SSH for some reason known only to yourself, you can still complete this exercise using HTTPS. Launch terminal, or if you're on a PC, you can use git bash or PowerShell. CD into the location where you want to clone your repo. I put mine in a folder called projects. To clone the repo, I'll type git clone and then paste in the URL I copied a moment ago from GitHub. Done. From here, I can work with the code normally. Now let's look at the push method so you understand how to do both. I'll make a new folder in my projects folder and then CD into it. I'll add a README file manually. I'll do this using Nano since I'm already in the terminal, but if you prefer a different editor, feel free to use it. If you're on Windows, you'll probably need to use a text editor like Notepad or Notepad++ for this task. Just create the folder the same way I did, then make a text file in it called readme.md, add a little markdown so it's not totally empty, and from there, the process is the same for Macs and PCs. Back in the terminal, making sure you're in the right folder, type git init. This initializes a new repository. Next, we add the README file to the repo with git add readme.md. Now let's commit. We now have a local repository. Go to GitHub or whatever service you're using and create a repo just like before. On GitHub, when you create the repo, it gives you two different sets of instructions. The second set of instructions is what we're doing right now. A script is generated here to add your remote repository to your local repo. Just copy the two commands and paste them into your terminal. Don't forget to hit enter for the second command. The first command added the remote. The second command pushed your local code up to the remote repository. It's traditional to call your remote origin if you're using GitHub, but since Git is a distributed revision control system, it's possible and even normal to have multiple remotes, and you can name them whatever you want. Now that we've pushed, go back to GitHub and refresh the repositories page. You should see the README file that you created and pushed. Now you know both ways to create repositories with Git, cloning the new repo or creating it locally then pushing. If you found value in this video, if you learned something new, help me out with a like and subscribe. For more videos on software development and DevOps from a developer's perspective, check us out at maddevskills.com or on Twitter @devskills.